This is the all-electric Mini Cooper SE. Now, Mini claim it has a theoretical range of 230 kilometres on its 32.6 kilowatt-hour battery. But does it? Well, we're fully charged and ready to go. So let's find out. Don't forget to subscribe to stay up to date with all of our YouTube videos. You can hit the bell icon to stay up to date with every new video that gets published. And don't forget to ask us any questions in the comments below, especially if it relates to an electric Mini. Let's hit the road. All right, well, we're going to put our regen onto high energy recovery. We're in green mode now. We've got 0 on the clock. We've got 100% battery. What do they say in the movie? It's 106 miles to Chicago. We got full tank of gas, half a pack of cigarettes. Let's hit it. Despite the car having a claimed range of around 230 kilometres, the best we can get is 160. And if I put it even into Green Plus, it only goes up to 165. Now, to be fair, that number comes from how the car has been driven previously, which has certainly not been in a hypermiling sort of sense. There's a very good chance this may adapt and adjust over time, certainly as we keep driving. Well, here we go. We're in the city. We've done 14 kilometres and our range has only dropped 7 kilometres. We're down to 153 showing available and 94% battery. So it's fair to say that 160 kilometre range we were told at the start isn't quite right. And as the car adapts to the way we're driving it, which is a pretty standard urban living, start-stop traffic, somewhere between 30 and 50 kilometres an hour, it shows a real indication of what the range would be. Now, incidentally, the regenerative braking does take a little bit of getting used to, especially when you come into corners. And as a fun fact, it actually does light up the brake lights. Putting our data on a chart, where the yellow line indicates where we need to be in order to reach our 230 kilometre claim, shows that even with our stop-start running about town, we're either sitting on or above the line, which I have to admit is a bit of a surprise. Now, here's the really interesting thing. Our range, which, as you recall, started at 160 kilometres, it keeps going up. It has sat around 130 for a while, then dipped to the low 120s. It's now back to 126 and has been oscillating between 124 and 126 for the last 25 odd kilometres. Why? The regenerative braking is basically doing what is necessary to keep us going. And at the moment, we've got 64% battery and we have travelled a very impressive 95 kilometres. So we are well on track to actually meet, if not exceed, that 230 kilometre claim by Mini in solely urban driving. It goes to show that the whole range anxiety thing, it's a bit of a false economy. I guess the best thing about this car, once you get used to the regen braking and the whole super silence of driving the electric car, it's just a Mini. Everything feels exactly the same as every other Mini. Since you've got me here for a period of time, I'll tell you that I used to own a Mini. I had a white one, and it was quite a good, fun little car. So the readout here says that we've done 14.4 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometres. And seeing as we've done 100 kilometres, we've used 14.4 kilowatt hours, which is not quite half of the battery. So it really does feel like this is a very accurate representation on power use and range, considering that we've been driving the car like you would drive the car. I've got my heated seats still on. I'm still in green mode, but granted, I'm not exactly flooring it away from the lights though. I'm not judiciously feathering it, but I'm not exactly zipping around. Right, well, after 5 hours, we've done 120 kilometres and hit 50% of our battery, so we're well on the way to matching Mini's claim. But I think a lot of that heavy lifting has been done through the regen braking system and the stop-start traffic that we've been driving through. How will the car go in, say, a sustained speed environment like cruising on the freeway? Well, let's charge it up and find out. Well, it's 9 o'clock at night, it's about 9 degrees. I still haven't shaved, long story, but I am wearing a slightly warmer jacket because we are going to do this next part of the test in Green Plus mode, which turns off the car's accessory functions, including the heater and heated seats. So I've only got that coffee to keep me warm. Now we've filled the car up, we're about to tick over to 100% charge. Let's see how we go on this stage. All right, well, wish me luck. All right, now I know you've got a few questions. First of all, why are we doing this at night? Well, I'm going to maintain around 80 kilometres an hour, and to do that when there's a lot of traffic on the road during the day, that's a little bit below the speed limit in some of the sections that we're going to be driving on, I'm going to be getting in everybody's way. So at least this way, it's nice and quiet, and we get to do our experiment bothering the least amount of people. Why are we using Green Plus mode? Well, we don't get the same level of energy recovery as we did around town, where the car is constantly doing stop-start driving. What does Green Plus do? Currently, I think it only turns off the air conditioning system, which I don't really need, and turns off the heated seats, which I'm currently feeling a little bit put out by, but we'll see how we go. All right, we're 30k down, and our range has only really just started to fluctuate. We started with the car telling us we had 191 kilometres range. We've done 30 kilometres and still have 181 kilometres range. At this point, we've still got 89% of our battery left. So we're well on our way to actually improve on what we saw around town, despite the fact that we're not getting the regen braking, which is probably good news for me because I might be able to turn my heated seats on because it is getting quite chilly. It's a brisk 10 degrees outside and probably about the same in here. Well, as they say, consistency is key. We've settled down to around 12.4 or 12.5 kilowatt hours per 100 kilometres, and we've done now 90 kilometres. So it's pretty clear that this consistent running is allowing us to sit roughly 2 kilowatt hours less than what we were able to manage around town, which I have to say is a bit of a surprise because our run around town with the energy recovery system felt actually really impressive. To be honest, I didn't think the car was going to achieve so well, and then thought perhaps on the freeway we wouldn't quite achieve the same. But as it is, we're on track to do even better than we did around town. I will say though that I've switched to regular green mode so that I can have my heated seats on because it's now 7 degrees and I am only human. Okay, so we've now done a little over 100 kilometres and the car says we've got 134 kilometres left, which is 234 kilometre range, ahead of what Mini claim. And again, even though it feels like we've been not really driving in the spirit of regular driving, I've had cruise control on the whole way. So realistically, if you were on the freeway doing 80 kilometres on cruise control, this is pretty much what you would expect. And I, like I said before, have now got the heater on because it is a bit chilly outside and I was fogging up. We're going to keep going until we hit 50% like we did around town. It's looking pretty good for Mini's claim. It's also looking pretty good for either type of environment. With a petrol car, you get much better economy on a highway cycle. With the electric car, it's pretty much parity. After 130 kilometres of steady driving, we're at 48%. And looking again at our graph, there's been no point where we've even been under the yellow line in terms of calculated range. What's more is the battery use is almost perfectly linear. And based on these results, our total range should be pretty close to 250 kilometres. If we overlay the data from our morning run around town with the freeway data, the battery use and range estimation is remarkably similar, showing the electric platform is more versatile than a petrol car in terms of operating efficiently, regardless of the driving style. All right, well, it's late, it's cold. What have we learned? Well, the 230 kilometre range claimed by Mini is certainly achievable, both in town and on a highway cruise. How does all this work? The combination of light throttle cruising at 80 kilometres an hour and use of the variable energy recovery system around town both present high efficiency environments for the Mini's electric drivetrain. Both styles of driving work well with the electric platform, and given it's designed predominantly as a city car, the honest range feels more than enough, even for a week's worth of driving. Do you own an EV? Have you been able to meet or even exceed the range claim? Did we do everything scientifically enough? Should I keep the beard? Let us know in the comments below, and as always, don't forget to subscribe to stay up to date with all of our latest videos. And in the meantime, it really is very late and very cold. I'm going to turn the heated seats back on and go home.